Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be making a tutorial on how to cut and sew this trendy kaftan with front design and open slits at the front. So if this is something that interests you, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. So guys, this is the fabric we'll be using. This fabric is called Kampala, and this is the fabric we are going to be using for the front design. So I'll set that aside first, then I'm going to open up this fabric and fold it into four. So this is what I have after folding it. As you can see, this other side that I'm touching now is the folded part, and the other side facing me is the opened part. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mark my starting point. And to mark the starting point, I'm going to go to the beginning of the fabric at the top there and mark 1.5 inches from that top. Then I'm going to connect it with my ruler and form a straight line. So all the measurements I'll be taking will start from that line. So I'm going to go ahead and measure my sleeve. So I'm going to be cutting the sleeve with the body. So you just place the tape at the nape of your neck and take it to where you want your sleeve to be. So mine is about 17 inches, and that's what I'm marking there. Then I'm going to mark 1.5 inches downward. This 1.5 inches to form my shoulder slope. So yeah, I'm going on the neck, on the starting point again, I'm going to mark my neck width of 4 inches. So I'm going to connect from that 4 inches to the shoulder slope. So after that, the next thing I'm going to do is to place my tape on that line that we are using as a starting point. Then I'm going to go ahead and take my waist measurements, my waist length of 18 inches, my hip length of 28 inches, and the gown length of 63 inches, and I'm going to add about 1.5 inch seam allowance to hem it. So that is what I'm forming now. So I've marked straight line on all those points. Then for my sleeve opening, I'm going to go ahead and mark my bust points. If you like, you can use your armhole circumference, but I'm going to use my own bust points to measure how wide I want it to be. So I'm going to connect from the shoulder slope down to the bust point that I just marked at the side of the sleeve opening. So the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and start inserting my horizontal measurements. So the first measurement I will insert is my bust circumference divided by 4. So my bust circumference is 43 inches divided by 4, that is 10.75. Then I'm going to add 1.5 inch as is, because I want it to be a little bit free. Then after that, I will add about 1 inch for my seam allowance. So everything I'm adding to this measurement is about 2.5 inches to 3 inches. So if you want yours to be wider than this, you can add up to 5 inches or 7 inches, but I'm okay with what I'm marking now. So for my waistline, I'll go ahead and insert my waist circumference divided by 4 and add 2.5 inches to it as well. For my hip line, my hip circumference divided by 4 and add 2.5 inches to it as well. So for the hip line, I'm going to, after marking the hip line, I'm going to go ahead and connect the bust points to the waistline like so. Then I'll connect the waistline to the hip like so. Then after that, I'm just going to form a straight line from the hip down to the length of my gown. But if you like, if you want yours to be A-shape, you can decide to like make it a little bit opened instead of going down straightly. Guys, this clothes stressed me. You know all this Kampala that they are always squeezing and squeezing, and there was no light, so I could not even press it before starting to like cut it. So it was just folding and folding and folding, so I had to be adjusting it as I was cutting it. So after marking it, after marking the straight line down there, we are going to go to the neck area and go ahead and mark the neck depth. You know the neck width is 4 inches. For the neck depth of the back panel, I'm going to go for 1.5 inches, while for the neck depth of the front panel, I'll go for 7 inches. So after marking that, I'm just going to take my armhole curve my curve rule, I'm just going to use it to like connect the neck depth to the neck width for both the front and the back panel. So once I do that, I will go ahead and just I'll go ahead and just add half an inch allowance to the shoulder slope. The half an inch allowance that I'll be adding is what I'm going to be using to join the shoulder of the front panel to the shoulder of the back panel. So once I mark that, I'll go ahead and cut out the fabric. So guys, after cutting out our fabric, this is what we have. So the next thing is to go ahead now to cut out the neck depth. Remember, the neck depth of the back panel is actually higher than that of the front panel. So we are going to first of all cut out the neck of the back panel. So we'll cut out the neck of the back panel together, both on the front and the back panel. So then we'll separate it. But before we separate it, I'm going to be attaching pockets to this outfit. So I'm just going to go ahead now to mark where my pocket will start from and where it's going to end. So my pocket is going to start from about 1 inch below my waistline. So, and that is what I'm notching now. Then I'm going to make it about 7.5 inches or 8 inches downward. So that is what I am marking now. So after notching my pockets, where my pockets will be, so I'm just going to separate the front panel from the back panel so I can focus on the front panel. So guys, this is our front panel and we'll start working on it. So right on that neck depth, that point that I marked as my neck depth, I'm going to measure 2 inches inward. Like the way I'm placing my tape, that's how you place your tape from the center front. Yeah, you measure 2 inches inward from the from that point of neck depth upward, downward to the length of the fabric. So I'm going to use my ruler to connect it straight up to that neck depth again. So from that 2 inches, I'm now going to like form a new neckline. Like I'm going to let it go ahead to meet my neck depth at the shoulder, like so. So after connecting it like that, I'll now take my scissors and use it to cut out all the lines that I just marked now. So don't worry, we are going to be replacing that later. So I'm just going to go ahead and notch where the neck depth stops. So now if you are following these steps, you should have 2 front pieces like so. So this is the 2 front pieces. So the next thing is to go ahead and join the shoulders of the front panel and the back panel. So I'm going to open up the back panel like so and place the front panel on its right side facing each other. Make sure that the right sides are facing each other. So I'm just going to place each piece of front panel on the back panel like so. I'm going to pin it down together with my pins. So once I pin it down together, after pinning, I'm just going to go ahead and sew it down on the shoulders. Take it to my machine, sew it down the shoulders. So guys, after joining the shoulders together, this is what we have. So the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and measure that center part that we cut. Remember where we were cutting, we cut out 2 inches from the center part. So that means the front side is open. So we are going to measure the open side round to the neckline, round to the other open side on the front panel. Do you get? Like the way I'm measuring it now to the neckline, then I'm going to now take the tape again down to the other side. So whatever I have there, that is what, like, I've measured like 100, like 2 tape with 21 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut that out on this piece of fabric. So the width is going to be 5 inches, while the length is going to be what we measured on the front panel of our fabric. So guys, this is what I have cut out now. So I'm going to just measure it out for you to see. The width is 5 inches. So make sure when you are cutting yours, you cut the width as 5 inches, and the length is what we measured at the front of that fabric. So I'm just going to go and give it a good press now. Then after that, I'll come back. So guys, I've gone ahead to give my fabric a very good press, and as you can see, I folded it into 2 so that I can know where the midpoint is. So if I open it up now, the midpoint is that crease. Do you get it now? So I'm trying to like reconfirm the measurement. So what I'm going to do now, I've gone to cut out what I'm going to use for the sleeve as well, because I'm going to use the same design for the sleeve. So what we are going to do now is to go ahead and measure the neck area of our fabric. So from the neckline of the back panel, so to know the center of the neckline of the back panel, I'm just going to fold my fabric into 2, and I'm going to notch it. So that's where the center of the back panel is, of the neckline of the back panel. So from this neckline of the back panel, I'm going to measure down to the notch that we made the other time, to the notes where the neckline of the front panel is stopping. So let me just go ahead and measure that right now. So that is what I'm measuring now from the center. Remember, from the center of the neckline of your back panel to where the notch stop at your front panel, at the neckline of your front panel. And what I have here is about 13.75 rather. That is what I have here. So now I'm not going to fold this this fabric that I've cut out. I'm going to fold it into 2 equal parts. So to make it easier for me, I folded, like I divided my measurement by 2 the other time while I was cutting it. So I've divided the measurement by 2 and I cut out 2 pieces of fabric. So at this joining where I joined the 2 together, that's where my center is. So I'm not going to go ahead and measure and mark out what I measured on my neckline the other time, which I just measured from the fabric. I'm going to mark it out on this, and this is where it stops. So guys, I don't know whether you are getting me. So I'm not going to like place this this fabric on each other like so. Then from the end of my fabric, I'm going to go upward by how many inches I want the slit to be. So I want my own slit to be 16 inches, but actually I marked out the clothes, the piece I marked out is like 5 inches more than what I measured. So that is why I'm marking out 25 inches. So from this mark that I marked at the down part to the mark I marked at the upper part, I'm going to sew down on the center points like so. Remember, I've already formed the center points, the crease of the center point the other time. So I'm going to sew down on the crease at the center points like so, from that down part down to the upper part. So I'll go ahead and do that now. So after sewing, this is what I have, guys. So you cannot see the thread because I used the matching thread. So I'm just cutting out the excess thread there. So I've sewn down on the center point from the beginning that I marked the other time to the end that I marked. So after that, I'm just going to like flip this fabric to the right side. So I'm going to flip it to the right side. So and then I'll go ahead and give it a good press. So this is how it's going to be when you flip it to the right side. Do you see the way it is as I'm flipping it to the right side now? So I will take it to my machine now. Rather, I will take it to go and give a good press both on the neck and at the center part that I've opened up. So guys, I'll press it open there. So after pressing it open, this is what I have. As you can see, our front design has already taken shape even before we join it to the fabric. See the way it's so looking beautiful. So it's now time to join it to the fabric. So when you want to join it to the fabric, make sure that center, make sure that you place the center front, the center of the piece that you made. Remember, the center was where I joined the two pieces together. Make sure that you match it with the center of the back panel. You know, both sides of this design is the right side, so you can just decide to pick any side as the right side. So I just matched the center of the neckline of the back panel to the center of this piece. I matched it together and I pin it down. So I'm just going to go ahead and be pinning it down together till I get to the end of this fabric. So if you don't understand what I'm saying, guys, just rewatch these parts, rewatch it very well, and make sure that you watch it carefully and follow what I'm doing, so that you will get the right results for your fabric. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin it down till the end of the fabric on one side. So after pinning it down on one side, this is what I have here. So this is what I have after pinning it on one side. So for the other side, I'm going to turn the fabric to the wrong side. So I'm going to turn the fabric to the wrong side, so that I'll be able to like pin down the other side as well. So the way I pinned it down on this first side is the way I'm going to pin it down as well on the other side. And since I've turned my fabric to the wrong side, it's going to be very easy for me to like pin. So I'm going to pin it down till I get to the end of the fabric. So remember, we've not joined the sides together, the side of the fabric together, so it's going to be easy for us to open up to the wrong side to pin. So after pinning, this is what I have. So I'm just going to take it to my machine and sew it down with 1/2 inch round from one end to the other end of my fabric. So I'll go ahead and do that now, and after that I'm going to place my design on my sleeve opening. I'm going to insert, I folded in 1/2 inch, I'm going to insert it into it like so. Then I'm going to join it on both sides with 1 inch. I will insert my pockets and I'm going to hem this outfit. So I'll go ahead and do all that now, and I'm going to come back. So guys, after doing all that, this is what we have, and I've even gone ahead to overlock the stitching on the neckline so that it will be neat inside. As you can see, I've fixed my pocket as well. See how beautiful our fabric is looking. So I'm just going to use this piece of trimmings to like make design on the front panel and on the sleeve as well. So thank you so much guys for watching this tutorial. Please do